Today's video is brought to you by PCB Way, where not only can you get beautiful PCBs made, but you can also do CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, and 3D printing. A whole lot more. Check them out in the link in the description. Do you have this problem? Loads and loads of little pieces of filament left over that isn't really long enough for a full project, but just a little bit too long to throw away. Well, yeah, as you can see, I do too. And yeah, and just recently, I actually have quite a bit more than I normally do, and that's because I'm doing some testing of stuff in the background here, which I will be making a video of shortly to show you what that's all about. But yeah, this was making me pretty upset. Loads and loads of wasted material, and as you can see, this is quite a bit already. This is, I forget the exact weight of it, but in total, I think I had nearly a full kilo of lots of loose ends. So as you saw in the thumbnail, which is probably why you clicked here, I have picked myself up the Sunlu Filament Connector FC01. This is a really cool little device, actually. This is basically a device designed to join these pieces together so you can reclaim all these tiny little pieces and make yourself a new spool that you can use. Now, of course, if you don't have, all just one color like here, I got multiple colors. It's going to be some sort of weird rainbowy thing, but it's still fun, it's still usable, and if you're going to be painting stuff, who cares, right? So that's what I did here. I got that, and as you can see, I have been using it. So I wanted to kind of do a little review of this device, show you what it's all about, because pretty cool. I like it. There's going to be some things I'm going to point out here that I am not happy with, but in general, I will give a quick little sum. I am happy. So let's check it out. First thing first, obviously I've been using it, so this is an unbox just for the camera. Comes with a little buy more stuff pamphlet and the instruction book in several different languages. It also comes with at least this one, as you can see in the front of the box, PTF sleeves. It's got a 1-pack. There's a 2-pack version, I suppose. And so it comes with those. I'll show you what these are in a minute. And it also comes with the wire. And the wire is kind of unique. And I'm surprised that they went this route because it is a standard USB-A on one side and then a small power jack on the other side. And this is going to be my first gripe. This was ridiculous. And I will tell you why in a minute. But let's get this out. This is the unit. I've already pulled off protective film. Sorry, you don't get to see that satisfaction. But this is the unit. Really small, nice compact system. It's got a protective cover on the outside here, which does have an extra purpose. I'll show again in shortly. And your main feature is the hot area. So this little metal tab here is where the filament gets joined, basically. So you got a little metal thing up there, and those areas heat up when it's closed, and then you have fused filament. So let's get this part out of the way, and we will get this powered up, and I will show you how this works. Before I power that up, though, I want to talk about my biggest gripe with this machine. So as I said, this cable comes with this, or this unit comes with this weird cable, very simple, basic 2-wire plug that is in a USB port. And this is what the problem is. So here on the bottom, and I wish I would have paid attention when I bought it because I would have seen that on the website too. You noticed it is a input of 5 volts, no big deal, and 2 amps. And that's fine. That's not that much really. But it's a USB, regular USB. So that means we're going to be using what, like phone chargers and things like that, right? Or maybe to your PC? Well, not necessarily, because the problem here is it needs 2 amps. Your PC is not going to deliver 2 amps, especially out of a standard USB 2.0, which is this one is set up as. That is typically set up as about a 0.5 amp. So don't go putting this into your PC expecting anything good unless you have a specific, like, dedicated power delivery system on your PC that is able to output a good solid 2 amps out of your USB port. Otherwise, you're going to be overloading your USB port and possibly damaging something. So that's really weird. Same thing, cell phone chargers. Yeah, most of them are between 1 amp and 1.5 amp. You do have a lot of newer ones, which are unfortunately USB-C, and those are higher end power delivery. But when it comes to those type of systems, normally what that does is, yeah, you can go up to something like 9 volt, 12 volt, and even higher amperage for an overall good higher wattage that it can output. But that relies on a power delivery handshake. So your USB-C device that you're plugged into actually communicates with the charger and says, hey, I can take this much amperage. Can you turn that part on? And it will. Um, if you don't have that, it like with this, obviously doesn't have it. It's just a standard two-way power cable. Most of those chargers will only deliver a minimal trickle charge, like about a half amp or sometimes even less, 200 milliamp or so. And so you're not going to be able to meet the requirements, even though that charger may have the ability. If it doesn't receive the right handshake, it's not going to do it for you. So therein lies a problem with this. Now, luckily, I did find an old, I think this is an Apple old iPad charger. It's a 10-watt charger, so it is actually the specs. And what you want to look for is like right there. If you notice, this one is a 5 volt and 2.1 amp max output. So this one is just at the limit of what this can do. So obviously it's just slightly over, so that's good. It shouldn't overload this thing. Unfortunately, this is back when I was in the US, so I have this. So I had to find an adapter to make this work because I have European plugs here now where I live. So that's a little bummer, but luckily I found my adapter. So we're gonna plug this in, and it does work. At least it has worked. Hopefully it continues to work. But yeah, so that's something to keep in mind with this thing. You're going to have to get a power source, or alternatively, if you're electronically, able, what you can do is cut this cable because it is just a standard 2-wire cable. Cut it and then actually provide a real 5 volt. If you can do a 5 volt 3 amp source, would be the better way of doing it because then you're not overloading anything. But basically, you're getting into having to modify a cable. So that was a little sad. It would have been better if it actually did come with the proper power supply. That was a little strange. Anyways, it is what it is, and it is. I did look back on the website, and it is well stated in red saying you need to provide at least this amount of amperage. So unfortunately, that's that. But let's get this plugged in. Let's see what this is. Do you need high quality 3D printing for your next project? Well, PCBWay's got you covered. With PCBWay's rapid prototyping service, you can bring your ideas to life in a huge range of materials, from durable plastics to sleek metals, all with precision down to the tiniest detail. Whether you're making functional parts, prototypes, or just something cool for your desk, PCBWay offers multiple 3D printing technologies like SLA, SLS, and FDM, all at compatible prices. Simply upload your design, choose your options, and PCBWay will handle the rest. It's fast, reliable, and shipped straight to your door. Turn your ideas into reality with PCBWay's 3D printing service. Check out the link in the description and start creating today. Okay, hopefully this charger thing does still hold on. So we got the charger port in the back, or the power input, not charger, but power input. Plug it in, and as you see, it boots up. And it's nice because it sits there and it is a touchscreen, but it's got a little power thing there, so it doesn't stay powered on all the time. Touch that, and it starts warming up. Now here we have a very simple display. See if the camera gets it. It's got a weird angle, so like I'm seeing in the camera, but from my point of view, looking at it this direction, it's completely dark. So it's got a very limited view. Let's see if I can actually make it so you can see how it kind of like fades out there. Who cares? We're not watching TV on this thing, but something I noticed, which was kind of interesting, that it's got, if you're looking down this way, it's got the best viewing angle, but looking straight on, it actually almost blacks out. Okay, kind of weird, but that's just the way it is. As you can see here, it has 2 different values, and kind of funny that they use these terminologies, although it is completely correct. It's not standard for what people think about here, but this is a set value and a process value. And so basically what it means is this is the value that you want it to be, and this is the value that it currently is at. So basically what you do is you set it to where you want it to be, and it starts warming up. You have other settings that you can put it in. Let's see, nope. Where is it? There it is. So you press that first, and then you can change what sort of material you're going to be doing. So it changes obviously the temperature there. I'm going to be doing PLA today, so I'll just do that. Come back here. And then you also have the option of changing the temperature. I'm going to leave it at 185. It seems to be doing well with that. And then you just kind of let it sit. And once it stops blinking, then it is set to go. And then you'll see, again, it's warming up. So warm up time is relatively quick. As you see, it's already gotten up to 177 and whatever. So it's a pretty surprisingly fast little warm up system there. And as you've been hearing, it does beep. So it does have kind of alerts letting you know that it's ready to go. Now, while that's finishing up, bring you to these little guys. So these little guys are the PTFE tubes. And what it is a really small tube. PTFE, basically the same kind of material that is used for Bowden tubes and whatnot. And this has two purposes. One, obviously, is so you don't melt your filament directly into the little heating element zone, but also it gives it a nice, tight area for the material to sit in, so it doesn't just expand and blob out to this some kind of giant, knot in the middle of your material. So it keeps it relatively within specs. Which I'll show you how close it gets in a minute here. So it gives you, in general, a good hold on the material and keeps it to the right size. So the way this works is honestly very easy. Obviously, you open up the main cover, and I will show you this actually does have an extra purpose at the end here. And then you open up this cover here. This is where the heating area is. That is the important part to watch out for because it does get hot in there, so don't touch. Also, as you see up on top here, this top area does get pretty hot too, so don't press down on here. Press down in the little corners here. But first, let's get this opened. Now, the way this works is basically you're going to go inside the tube and join these together. But to make a good connection, you don't want to join two flat zones. You want to actually give it a cut at an angle. This is what I found to be the best, and I think is what's recommended. So you give it a good kind of 45-degree or so angle there. Okay, so it's relatively easy. Like I said, you get them cut at an angle there. And then you get them put into the tube. Make sure they're well lined up. You can see that inside there. Get them nice and lined up. Get it into the machine. Make sure that that joint is right in the middle of that metal piece down inside here. And then close the lid. And then wait for it to beep. And just hold it in place. Don't pull on it. Don't push on it. Just let it be where it is. Once it beeps, you open it back up and you slowly pull it out. Don't push, don't pull. Let it do its thing. Let it cool down. And then once it starts cooling down, then you can start slowly moving the tube around to loosen it up. And there you go. You got a bond. This one had a little imperfection there, so it's not perfect, but it's bonded. I mean, it's not coming apart. I'm sure if I were to bend it back and forth, obviously you wouldn't do that to normal filament anyways, but it's not coming apart. Diameter wise, it holds fairly decent. So we can see that's pretty much dead on. Actually, I was surprised. Sometimes it's more of like 1.8 or so. Depends on how you first how much you're pressing. If you push too hard whilst together, especially when you're pulling it out, if you press them together, it's gonna bulge out. So be careful. That's probably the biggest tip I can give, is to not push them. Try to be as slow and steady as you can for holding it. Don't leave it in here because this does still stay hot. It doesn't get cold after the beeps. So get it out of that chamber first, and then just kind of hold it there. Don't let it, stretch or push together. But once you get that tube off, it should be fairly good, as you saw. I was actually surprised, and that was dead on. So yeah, good bond. Nice clean bond there. And if you were to be joining two filaments together, as in not just these little pieces, but like you have two spools, maybe two half spools, and you want to bring it over to just one full spool, then instead of having to slide this thing all the way around and keeping it to where you have to undo the whole spool and just keep sliding this, they've actually done a really little cool thing here. Inside there, if you put your material down inside and then close this lid, push down, bring it back up, what it does, there's a little tiny blade in there, and so it cuts the PTFE tube so you can pull it right off without having to slide it all the way down. Now, of course, you've destroyed this, so it doesn't give it a multi-purpose or a multi-use function if you do it that way. But if you're only just joining two spools together and that's it, no big deal. But if you have loads of little pieces like I do here, you just slide it to the next end, join it, slide it to the next end. And I mean, I did all of this on one of these tubes, so they hold pretty well. So yeah. So there it is. There is the Sunloo Filament Connector FC01. Interesting name. But the filament connector. Like I said, my biggest gripe is this cable. I think that was a very poor decision from them, but I get what they're doing to keep it low cost. It would obviously cost more, probably almost the same price. They would have to almost double the price if they had to include a charger, or sorry, a 2 amp power source. And us being makers, we probably have lots of different types of power sources around. So I get it, but that was kind of a bummer when I saw that wasn't included, especially the fact that they used this instead of using like a USB. They could have, I think they could have done a different plan and had it. I mean, 2 amps is not that high, but they could have slowed down the heating, I suppose, and get it a little bit lower wattage. It is what it is. But besides that, it works really well. I've been impressed. I'm going to be able to reclaim a lot of material that I would have otherwise thrown away. So there's that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if you guys think that this is something useful. If you've used one, let me know what you guys feel about it. What kind of tips and tricks? Maybe you saw me do something silly here and they're like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. Let me know. It'd be interesting to know. One other thing I didn't point out, this is my unit. I bought it. They did not sponsor me. Sunloo has no clue I'm making this video. So this is my true real world, as it always is, but a non-sponsored opinion. And yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I don't have any affiliate links or anything like that. If you're interested in getting it, you're going to have to find it on your own on Sunloo. Pretty much anybody that sells 3D printer materials will have one of these probably for sale. Yeah, easy to find. But I do have affiliate links for other things down in my description box if you're interested in helping the channel out. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but gives me a little bit of extra kick to the channel so I can get things like this to show you. So yeah, there's that. But other sponsors, I do have PCBWay, of course, so they are a big help. Check them out, link in the description. They are awesome people to work with, and yeah, great PCBs, and the other stuff like I mentioned with CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication stuff that I've used, and their 3D printing stuff. If you want to do hardcore resin, very heavy, or engineering materials that you just can't do at home or don't want to because of the smells, they're really good at doing it for you. And for one-off prototyping, pretty good affordable prices on there. So really well worth checking out. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, that's enough of the video today. I hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, get out there and make something. Thanks for watching.